What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. Hey, Phillies can win 3 in a row. It is possible. It is definitely possible with this team, apparently. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good, solid game. You know, really no stress in the world. And surprisingly, Taijuan Walker was actually pretty good on the mound. He did his job, 6 shutout innings. He was very solid. There's a lot to be said, from him. Max Kepler actually did something productive, and rightfully so from a lot of the Philadelphia fans when they saw the lineup today and they see Max Kepler in the lineup, after Harrison Bader had the big night last night with the 3-run home run and just the overall sense of Harrison Bader just being a better player than Max Kepler. People were definitely rightfully frustrated and calling out, like, why the hell is Max Kepler in the lineup? Well, he made a lot of us eat shit just for tonight. And I'm not going to say, like, oh, this is going to go on a big stretch for Max Kepler, because no, he in the rare blue moon, he has had these moments, and he does have pop in his bat. So he cashed in 2 RBIs today. He had a solo shot in this game, or he had the 2-run shot in this game. So overall, good for him. Good for him. So I really can't be mad at the Max Kepler performance. I'm sure he hears a lot of the complaints from the fan base, and I guess flipped on the double bird for today's game, and he had himself a good game. He had himself a good game. I can't complain. Brandon Marsh had himself a good game. He had himself a couple of RBIs. He hit a solo shot to give it a little bit of extra insurance in that bottom of the 8th inning. And Brandon Marsh has really been swinging a good bat for a while. I think, realistically, since he came back from that IL stint, he has been, I think, batting around like 300 or something like that. So he has definitely been better at the plate. And today at the bottom of the lineup, the majority of the damage for you today, like obviously with Kepler, obviously with Marsh, Bryson Stott got into that action as well. It's just a lot of production from that bottom part. That's where all the RBIs came from. And it just turned out to be a pretty good game. And granted, yes, the Baltimore Orioles, they're not a good team this year. And so you do have to take that with a grain of salt, but especially for the Taijuan Walker stuff. But still, he did his job. He went 6 innings when you really didn't expect him to do that. 6 shutout innings, by the way. And he saves the bullpen. He saves a lot of the bullpen to where, yeah, you do use some of your higher leverage arms. You use Kirkering, you use Strom, but then you save Duran after Brandon Marsh gives that 5th run in that bottom of the 8th inning. So that was very good right there. So you save Duran for possibly tomorrow to get a sweep with Ranger Suarez on the mound. So that definitely does help out in that instance. But like I said, just no complaints from this game. Just overall a very good contest, a very good performance, and overall just dominant pitching performance. And like I said, I know the Orioles, they're not that good of a team this year, but still, you take them where you get them. So Taijuan Walker's stat line finishes today: 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts on 83 pitches. Definitely agree. I think it was the right call to not let Taijuan Walker extend it any further in this game. He did his job. You went 6 innings. You had much more than a quality start. Let the bullpen take it from here. We got a 4-0 lead, soon to be 5-0 lead at that point. Let the bullpen take it from the rest, because obviously these Baltimore hitters, this Baltimore lineup is just not that good enough. They're most likely not going to come back into the game, and we got it. Well, go off on the rest of your night, Tajuan, and enjoy the win. Enjoy the win, and good on your good performance. And then Kirkren came into the 7th inning. He struck out 2. Matt Strom, he also struck out 2. Lazar, he allowed a hit, but he also struck out 2 in that top of the 9th inning. So overall, just a very good pitching performance from this team. And then just looking at with the way this this game went, run scoring didn't start until the bottom of the 2nd inning. Castellanos, he got on base with a single. Then a very weird balk that I haven't really seen much of in my life, where the pitch, I guess he's the pitcher for the Orioles, he slipped on the rubber on the mound and just couldn't throw the ball, and ended up being a balk. So Castellanos goes to second. Marsh then doubles, goes off at the top of the wall, so he barely just missed a home run there too. Uh, Brought home the first run of the game, and then Max Kepler hits that 2-run shot to make it 3-0. The Phillies do load the bases in the rest of the inning. Stott with a single, Turner. They're calling it an infield single, even though it should be like a fielder's choice or something like that, because it was a soft chopper. They tried to go to second base where Bryson Stott was clearly safe, so they're calling it an infield single. But you take it for what it is. Uh, Kyle Schwarber. They were obviously not trying to pitch the Schwarber in this at bat, so he walked. And then mm, not the not the best at bat that I like from Bryce Harper, swinging at the first pitch when bases loaded because he really just could have broke the game open there. But he pops up and ends the inning after only scoring 3 runs. But then Tajuan Walker follows that up with 1, 2, 3, and he was just basically solid the entire game. You go to the bottom of the 4th, Kepler with a leadoff double, then Bryson Stott also barely misses a 2-run shot, goes off the top of the wall, and ends up with a triple, scoring Kepler, makes it 4-0 Phillies. And then that would be basically the rest of the offense until Brandon Marsh hits that solo shot. But, 1 single allowed, 2-out single in the top of the 5th by Tajuan. He hit a batter in the top of the 6th, but basically besides that, he would allow a base runner here and there, but really no damage done against Tajuan Walker, which was very good. 1, 2, 3 inning for Kerkering, 1, 2, 3 inning for Strom. Then you have the 2-out home run by Brandon Marsh. Leadoff single against Lazar in the top of the 9th, but then he retired the next 3 guys in order. So overall, just very good stuff. Really no complaints about this game whatsoever. It was just a solid game. Just a solid game, taking care of business. Game flew by very quickly. And, no concerns, no stress or whatsoever. And really good game. Really good game overall. Looking at the lineup just in totality, Trey Turner 1 for 4, Kyle Schwarber 1 for 3 with a walk, Bryce Harper 0 for 4, JT 1 for 4, Nick Castellanos 1 for 4, Marsh 2 for 4 with a solo shot, and also just 2 RBIs. Max Kepler with a 2-run shot, he was 2 for 4. Sosa, he went 0 for 3. He was basically probably the worst batter in the box tonight. He went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Then Bryson Stott went 2 for 3 with an RBI triple. So bottom of the lineup doing a lot of the damage today. He went 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position. So the bottom of the lineup that, took a lot of the stress, I guess, off of the top of the lineup because those guys really didn't have the best days at the plate. Sometimes that's going to happen, and really it's a rarity with this Phillies team that the bottom of the lineup takes over the game. But thankfully that was the case for tonight, and it made it really a stress-free affair. And just a little bit of updates, just looking around the league right now with what it looks like. The Cleveland Guardians and the New York Mets. Guardians are winning 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th inning. So right now, coming into this game, I think the Phillies were a game and a half on the Mets. Now they're 2 games up on the Mets with this win. And if the Guardians close out the Mets right here, it'll be 2.5 games up on the Mets, which is a very good thing right there as well. So definitely a good time to start going on a winning streak with the Mets squandering once again. So that definitely feels a little bit nice there. Hopefully the Guardians do close it out. It's 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jeff McNeil is up in an 0-2 count right there. So we'll just see an update on how that game finishes. Actually, I should bring up MLB.com just to see where all that stuff is going. Just to look at everything right there. So, yep, it's still Jeff McNeil up. He's in an 0-2 count right now. Let's see if MLB.com or just the game thing updates. Nope, just a lot of foul balls by Jeff McNeil so far. Still 0-2 in his at-bats, so we'll just keep looking over to that as well. And then if we look at just the upcoming game for tomorrow, that is at 12:35, which is very early in the afternoon. That'll be Ranger Suarez against Trevor Rogers, who has been actually very good for Baltimore this year, 4-2, with a 1.44 ERA. And we'll see where Ranger Suarez is at. Had a solid start his last outing, 8-4 with a 2.63 ERA. He went 7 innings, 3 earned runs against Detroit. Then 5 2/3, 1 earned run against the Yankees. So he's been very up and down lately. So we'll see which version of Ranger that we do get tomorrow. And Jeff McNeil flew out for the second out of the inning. So so now the Mets are down to their final out with Alvarez up the plate. So we'll see. We'll see. So right now that was a missed call by the umpire. That was a ball. He called it a ball, but it was a strike. It's in the strike zone from what it looked like right here. So umpire screwing over the Guardians, which in turn is screwing over the Phillies. Excuse me for that sneeze right there. Oh, nope. Francisco Alvarez grounded out on the 1-0 pitch, and the Guardians win the game, and the Phillies are now officially 2.5 games up on the New York Mets, and the Mets have lost 2 series in a row so far after going on that big winning streak. No, actually, they've lost 3 series in a row since that big winning streak. When they won 7 in a row, they got swept by San Diego. They just lost a series to San Francisco at home, and now they just lost a series to Cleveland. So, interesting. Very interesting stuff there. So, we also do have a good interview by Max Kepler that he did on the with T-Mac and Kruk after the game, so I definitely do want to get to that as well. But overall, really not much else to talk with this game. This game was just solid. This game was just very solid. But the one thing that I do want to bring up for possibly tomorrow's game, um, I would like to see, just in terms of like a day off for a player, I would like to see Trey Turner get a day off because he's just really struggling at the plate. And I just think he needs a day off or something like that just to clear his head, because he does look very frustrated at the plate. And maybe with a series win, especially with a quick turnaround tomorrow, you could probably give him a day off or something like that. So you're definitely just going to have to do some weird things with the lineup, weird things with the infield. But I do think you should, but Rob probably won't, just because you do have the day off on Thursday going into the road series against Texas. But that's basically my one point right there. But yeah. So now 2.5 games up on the Mets. You're 65 and 48. What is that? What is that? 17 games above 500? Am I? No, I don't think that's right. What is it? That's 15 games above. Am I counting that right? 65. I am not mathing in my head right now. Sorry, I apologize for that. So it's 65. 65 minus 40. I don't know why I'm balking on this right now. Geez, 17. Okay, it was 17 games. I was right the first fucking time. Jesus Christ, I don't know why I second guessed myself. My God, I am an idiot. I am an idiot. So, don't mind me there. But overall, like I keep saying, really just good stuff by the Phillies. Really good stuff by the Phillies today. And hopefully they can pull off a series sweep. They haven't had a series sweep in a very long time. When was the last time the Phillies actually swept the series? That's very interesting, actually. Let's go back. Obviously, they haven't swept the team to start the second half of the season, and I don't think they had a sweep at all in the month of July. When was their last series sweep? When was their last series sweep? Their last series sweep was against the Toronto Blue Jays, of all teams. And we all know where Toronto is at right now, first place in the American League East, and that was from June 13th to the 15th. So that was the last time the Phillies swept the series. Interesting. Interesting. They're definitely way overdue. Way overdue for a series sweep. 100%. And I'm just looking at some of the series. Yeah, it's Toronto, because they won 3 of 4 in Miami after that. They won 2 of 3 against the Mets. They got swept by Houston. They won 2 of 3 against the Braves. They won 2 of 3 against San Diego. They won 2 of 3 against the Reds. They lost 2 of 3 against San Fran. They lost 2 of 3 against San Diego going into the break. And then basically we all know the results of coming out of the second half. Obviously losing the series to the Angels, winning both of the series against the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees, losing the series against the White Sox, winning the series against Detroit, and now winning the series against Baltimore with a chance to sweep tomorrow afternoon. So definitely something to think about right there. And yeah, we swept the Toronto Blue Jays, and that was way before they were first place in the National League East. What was Toronto's record at that point? I don't think they're going to show it, actually. What was Toronto's record at that point? Because I think they were still above 500. Maybe they were hovering around 500. I'm not entirely sure. I definitely am intrigued to see where Toronto has been since they got swept by Philadelphia, because they obviously went off. But I do want to see. Toronto was, after the Phillies swept Toronto, they were 38 and 33, and then they just went on a very long stretch of winning a lot of games. So, yeah, that makes sense. They were a little bit of games above 500, and they went off after that. They completely went off. So yeah, let's try to get a sweep. No, Toronto was a 3-game series. Toronto for once was a 3-game series, surprisingly. I know there's usually years where they go to Toronto and they only play 2 games, but the both series they played against Toronto this year, there were 3 games. The series they lost in Toronto was 3 games, and the series in Philadelphia was 3, so they swept that series. And they ended up taking the season series, 4 games to 3, or actually 4 games to 2. So yeah, overall, hopefully they do sweep tomorrow. Hopefully Ranger Suarez shoves, and the Phillies get the Trevor Rogers. Hopefully that's the case. And I want to see what the Mets actually too, since obviously they lost the series to Cleveland. So who's going to be on the mound for them tomorrow? And who was on the mound for them today? It was Clay Holmes. It was Clay Holmes. He went 5 innings, allowed 2 earned runs. And then Allen was on the mound for the Guardians, but the bullpen completely shut down the Mets. Festa, a shutout 6th inning. Allard had an inning and a third, shutout baseball. Jurius had a 2/3 of an inning with shutout, and then Cade Smith got the save. So Colby Allard, former Philly, doing the Phillies a little bit of favors there. So Holmes allowed 2 runs. Gregory Soto did not allow a run. He actually had a quick inning. Tyler Rogers, their trade deadline pickup. He allowed 3 hits and allowed an earned run, and that was the go-ahead run for the Guardians. That is crazy. That is crazy. So who is on the mound for that series finale tomorrow? Who is on the mound then for the Mets? It'll be David Peterson going up against Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams 6-4 with a 3.33 ERA. And then Mets have a very tough series coming up against after Cleveland, and they've been struggling against some very, Cleveland, San Francisco. They're pretty mediocre teams at this point. Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland's more mediocre. They sold at the deadline. They play Milwaukee next. The Mets this weekend. They play Milwaukee, and they got Kodai Senga, Frankie Montas, and then Sean Manaea against Brandon Woodruff, Logan Henderson, and Priester. Yeah, Quinn Priester. Yeah, so the Mets are definitely gonna have their money's worth of the Brewers this weekend if they can't find a way to figure it out, actually. I just want to look at some of their other schedule going forward, too. They play the Braves after Milwaukee. They play Seattle at home. They play Washington. They play the Braves again. They play the Phillies at the end of August. They have a 4-game series against the Marlins at home at the end of August. They play in Detroit for 3 games. They play in Cincinnati. This is all to start September now. They have a 4-game series against the Phillies at home. They play against Texas. They play against San Diego, Washington, Chicago, and Miami. Interesting. Definitely it's like a very top-heavy schedule, I would say. Very top-heavy. It's like the teams that they play, they're very good teams, and then the other teams are just like, very not good. So, who knows? The Mets have been very inconsistent like the Phillies are, so it's crazy. And here's an interesting tweet from Matt Gelb. Phillies are 2.5 games up on the Mets. It's the most separation between the two teams in either direction since June 15th. That's realistically how both teams just could not figure it out and get some separation in this division. That is crazy. What else? Someone said notable contributors tonight: Tajuan Walker, Max Kepler, Brandon Marsh, Bryson Stott. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, the one thing that was also like getting Phillies fans, obviously, like rightfully so, up in arms about the lineup today, with like what Rob Thompson said. It's because the reason why he's still doing the platoon stuff is because he made a promise basically to the players that over the course of the 6 games after the trade deadline, he was going to do the platoon thing, and then we'll just go from there and see what works and all that stuff. So obviously people got really aggravated over that, and then of course Max Kepler has the night that he has tonight. So it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So yeah, we'll see. Is there anything else? I don't think so. We do have a voicemail here, actually. It just came in from Austin. We also do have a text. I think we do have a text message, actually. Yeah, it's a text message and a voicemail from Austin. So we might as well get to that. Austin has not called in a while, so let's get to him. Very short one, so let's see what he's got to say.
Hey, so this is Austin. Just wanted to give a quick call. So if anybody is familiar with Broadway shows, then you know that some days the main cast can't show up. Some days they need to rely on the understudy. And that is what we saw tonight. Tajuan Walker, 6 innings, shutout baseball. Absolutely amazing that you can have that these days. You got Kepler, you got the other guy, forgot what his name is. Sorry, it's late. I'm tired.
Marsh.
But anyway, the point being that if they can produce this level of baseball in the playoffs, I'm not going to feel as worried as I did, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So, go Phils. Sorry this call ran on to a minute. I'm tired. Have a good night.
I don't mind if it goes long for longer than a minute, so. But you definitely did sound tired there. But yeah. If Sometimes you just need those nights. Obviously, like you said, sometimes when the main cast of crew can't do much, and they did a lot yesterday. Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber did, obviously more so Kyle Schwarber, even though Bryce deserves respect. He did have the solo shot in that game as well. So those guys are not going to show up every night, and yeah, especially in like a playoff game. Excuse me, jeez. Especially in a playoff game, you are going to need your supporting cast. So, so yeah, definitely they got that tonight, and felt nice, felt good. So, don't know how much you'll see that over the course of the final month and a half of the season, but definitely felt good today. It definitely felt good today. Let's see what else. Austin did leave a text message. He said he felt obligated to leave a call after that game. Yes, there are still runner and scoring position issues, but we are starting to see the team come together. Who could have guessed? Sorry for my rambling call, as I've been awake for like 24 hours at this point. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. What else? What else? Oh yeah, I did want to get to that interview by Max Kepler after the game, so I definitely want to go there. I want to see where's it at. Where's it at? Where's it at? It's somewhere down. I think it's somewhere here. It's somewhere here. I probably should have freaking. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do this right here.
Max Kepler joins us down in the field. All right, Max, you played this game for a long time. You've been through ruts like this. That had to feel good to get that ball out of the ballpark tonight.
Yeah, it most definitely did. It did.
I mean, and the great thing, I think, we were talking to Rob about this, that you've had swings where you've barreled the ball up and it just hasn't gone your way. So
Yeah.
that one does. Give us an idea just what that felt like.
That swing in specific?
Yeah.
There's some relief behind it. I feel like I've been battling the unlucky type ball in play with no result for a long time in my career. So I just kind of try and put my head down and keep going. This one's been tougher than I think the most in my career if I reflect on it. But I really am not trying to reflect too much and just trying to stay present and keep moving forward.
Well, reflecting, Max, a lot of wins for the Phillies. Sometimes it's predicated on Bryce and Kyle doing what they do, which is seemingly every night. But how satisfying is it to get a win when the bottom of the lineup, you, Stott, Marsh, 6 through 9, you guys put up some numbers today.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom feeder has got some bait tonight, and we took advantage. But yeah, I mean, what the big boppers are doing top of the lineup is incredible, and it's just fun to watch.
All right, so you've been with Duran for the past few years. What has that been like to see him come over here and help out this team these couple of games that he's pitched?
I'm so happy for him. And, to see him do it in front of a big crowd every night, and his walkout, the Durantula theme song, it gave me goosebumps the first night. The second night, I was just like, oh, here we go again. But, I mean, it's definitely a feeling of relief to have someone like that come in and close.
Yeah, it's huge. But, Phillies fans sometimes can be a little rough, Max. They were complaining yesterday that y'all scored too many runs because they wanted to see Duran come in the game.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think the boos are their love language, so.
That's it. That's it.
But yeah, I don't know why they were booing towards the end of that last inning there. But, I think I've given up trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm here doing my thing.
Well, let me ask you, how do you stay present? How do you stay present after all these years playing baseball?
It's hard. To be honest, I can't say I have been the most present lately. But I just try and confide in my brothers and just enjoy what they do, watch them do their thing, and try and play small ball. And when I try and, like I laid down a bunt in New York, and if I play unselfish baseball, then I feel like I'm within the team and the collective, and I'm not as, thinking about the results having to come my way in the future. So,
well, that's a beautiful way to think,
it really
Max.
is. And listen, hey, they came your way tonight, but they came the team's way too. So nice job, buddy. Go enjoy this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Max Kepler.
You saw the human side there of Max Kepler. Well, not see. You heard the human side there of Max Kepler. Yeah, obviously, I feel bad for the guy that he goes through his struggles, but obviously when you're playing for a a team that has a lot of expectations and you don't perform, especially to, you're being paid like 1 year, $10 million. So obviously it's an investment. And granted, it's only a 1 year deal, but with the way the Phillies offseason was, they desperately needed outfield help and they needed offense from their outfield. And, that was the signing for the outfield of the offseason, even though it wasn't the right signing. Yeah, that puts expectations on you. And when you don't live up to those expectations and you're really just not performing well, you're going to hear it. And clearly he does understand that. And it was funny because I did see that, Franco. I did see that people were booing Lazar coming into the game because they wanted to see Duran. But you're not going to bring Duran with a 5-0 lead. That just doesn't make sense whatsoever. So that's just people being selfish. But that's Phillies fans being Phillies fans. But yeah, you definitely got the human side of Kepler just to remind us that, hey, we're all humans, even though we're athletes, even though we get paid a lot of money, we're still human beings at the end of the day. And we all have a lot of moments where we struggle, a lot of moments where we get in our own head. And yeah, I could definitely understand that because, yeah, anxiety, stress, very tough thing. It's a very tough thing. So definitely some interesting words there from Max Kepler. But overall, it was a good night. Good night for the Phils. Good night for the Phils. Good night just to enjoy the game and all that stuff. Let's hope they finish off the sweep. I would like to see a sweep. Nah, I think they do it. I think they finish off the sweep. So, get to some of you guys in the chat right here, and then we'll end it off. Austin. So I guess Austin left some comments here. Then he left his phone call. Then he left the chat and went to bed probably. So Austin. Not astonished by this outcome because the Orioles suck, but I will give credit to Walker, the bullpen, and the bottom of the lineup for putting this win together. Raymond, how you doing? I know baseball doesn't have the 3 stars, but tonight we had Tajuan, Marsh, and Kepler. Wow. Austin, this is what World Series teams are capable of doing. This was an understudy show in the truest sense of the word. If these guys can provide on this level of play through October, it's a done deal. Yeah, hopefully that can be the case. Kepler isn't going anywhere. Why at this point? He's a veteran player that can hit some homers. Pointless to cut him. I don't think cut. Like, I really wasn't necessarily advocating to cut him. I was more just like, he shouldn't be the everyday left fielder for the most part, like Bader has deserved. And like Bader's numbers also do prove that his numbers are better than Kepler this year. Better than, he'd be the best outfielder on the Phillies right now. So that's basically from a mindset that your trade deadline acquisition does deserve to play every day because of his numbers. And then you figure out what to do with the left field platoon or something like that. So, and then Kepler becomes a bench bat or something like that. That's more on the case where I was. I know there were a lot of Phillies fans that are clamoring to DFA Kepler. I don't think they're going to do that, and I just don't see it. But I've been proven wrong before. Remember in 22 when Thompson seemed every move he did work till the end? Maybe this will happen? Hopefully. I do hope so. I looked at Walker's season games. Most games he gave up was 4 a few times. Most of the time he's been good enough. Yeah, this definitely has been a more consistent version of Tajuan Walker. Even though he has definitely gone through different stretches like, starter, bullpen, starter, bullpen, starter, bullpen. He has done his job more times than not this year, which is definitely not expected from him just because of how bad he was last year. But he definitely has been solid enough this year, and he has been doing his job when his number's called upon this year, so I can respect that at the end of the day. We got classic Tajuan Walker tonight. Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott were very good offensively as well. Oh, yeah. LOL Mets. Washington has given up 16, 14, 16 runs out of the last 4 games. The Phillies better pound them. Don't put your wishes too high there, Julian. Don't put your wishes too high there. Yep. Talking about the Toronto and all that stuff. Yep, Mets play the Brewers on Friday as well, and this weekend overly. Phillies end the season at home. Very shocking. Yeah, that definitely is a shocking thing. They haven't really done that much. Yeah, and against the Twins. That series towards the end against the Mets is going to be very important. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be very important. Can't disrespect like Brandon Marsh like that from the call. Star Wars, how you doing? Yep, Phillies win, Mets loss. Great stuff. It's funny to hear. Yeah, that definitely was funny. Tyler, how you doing? Imagine this being the turning point. We can only get better from here. Wishful thinking. That would be very funny if this was the turning point. Schwarber's performance last night, the whole MVP chance. Get 2 wins in a row. Hopefully you get a series sweep. Maybe that is the turning point of your season. Who knows? Weird things can spark things. So you never know. Baseball is a very weird sport. But we'll see. Hopefully they do. I think at this point of the season, even though a lot of us know what this team are and what this team is, and I think Brodes did bring this up in his pod last night, I believe, and it was him talking about what they were talking about on the WIP mid afternoon show, and they were talking about just as much as we know the flaws of this team, we're getting to that back stretch of the season where it's getting closer to October, getting closer to the playoffs, getting closer to the postseason, and obviously the Phillies will be a team that's going to be competing for a postseason spot. At this point, we should just if they break our hearts once again, so be it. We should all just ride along the journey, see where it takes us, and just not necessarily start to believe or buy back in, but allow them to take hold of us and just take us on the journey instead of just constantly shitting on them 24/7, basically, like we have been doing for a lot of the season. And even though it's very warranted, I think I do agree with that. Just we're in the final stretch of the season right here, these final 2 months, and a lot of things can happen over that course. But I think it is time probably for to see where this journey takes us and just get into that mindset, and that's probably the right mindset overall. So I kind of do agree with that. I kind of do, and maybe maybe this stretch here does spark something in this team. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's more of the same. We'll just have to wait and find out. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But that'll do it for tonight, everybody. I appreciate you all for tuning in as always. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget that subscribe button does me a great deal of service and all that stuff. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Do not pass it up. One last question from Jose. Does Crawford finally get called up during this road trip? I think he does. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, but then you would definitely have to make some moves with the roster in order for that to happen. So I'm not sure how they'll make that work. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll see. Tomorrow's 12:35 start. So recap. I'm debating whether to do directly after the game or just wait a little bit or something like that. So it's just a play by ear thing. Probably most likely it'll be directly after the game. So just stay tuned and wait for it and all that stuff. So appreciate you guys for tuning in and all that stuff. Like I said, all the other stuff before. Appreciate you.